At this time, I'm going to call to order the April 17th, 2019 Pollyant Trail Management Council meeting to order, and we'll pay respects to the flag and have an invocation after. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear God, bless us this day. Let us understand that it is the Easter season and that we have you on our mind and in our spirit. God, make all of us safe on our way home. Let us make the right decisions for this organization and for the community. In this Jesus' name we ask.
Amen. Okay, we can get a roll call, please, for attendance.
Yes, sir. Curtis Wright.
Here.
Mike McDonald.
Here.
Elgin Nichols, here. Donnie Steele, absent. Aaron Watley.
Here.
Eric Sant.
Here.
Kevin Green.
Here.
Linda Moran.
Here.
Okay, we have a quorum. Just a couple notes. Mr. Pearson is out of town absent, and Ms. Steele is on her way to the meeting. And with that, we'll move on to approval of the agenda. Any amendments to the agenda?
Make a motion to approve the agenda as submitted.
Second.
Okay, a motion by Councilor McDonald, second by Councilor Sump to approve the agenda as presented. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, that motion carries. Next up is our consent agenda. In front of you, you have the meeting minutes, the approval of the bills in the amount of $12,032.96, and the financial reports. Any question on any of those items? Okay, hearing none, a motion is in order to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve the March 20th, 2019 meeting minutes, approval of the bills to be paid in the amount of $12,032.96, and receive and file the financial reports for March 2019.
I'll second.
Okay, a motion by Councilor Watley, second by Councilor McDonald to approve the consent agenda. Roll call, please.
Curtis Wright.
Yes.
Mike McDonald.
Yes.
Elgin Nichols, yes. Donnie Steele, absent. Aaron Watley.
Yes.
Eric Sant.
Yes.
Bruce Pearson, absent.
Okay, that motion carries. Next item on the agenda is any public comment. Okay, hearing no public comment, we'll move on. Citizen rep report. Kevin, anything to report?
No report.
No report at this time. Okay, moving on. Item number 8, trail manager report. Manager Moran.
All right. Hello, everybody. First, let's start off with President Wright has the check, a copy of the check for the $8,500 that we received from Schneider Electric. It's in the bank, and the check is cleared, and everything is fabulous. Boy, have I
It's a
got some
copy.
ideas now.
So that's that one.
For our unfinished business, the first thing is our website, which we will be discussing later in the meeting. Mile markers. The signs are attached to the posts. The first 11 miles have been marked on the trail. I saw Miss Dig. I was all over the trail today. Miss Dig is out there in force. They are going to start installation on Saturday. So that is going to be exciting. National Open the Trail Day was April 13th. We had 146 Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts. That does not include their handlers, their scout leaders, their parents, grandparents. There was probably closer to 200 people out there. We did a great job. $81.28 is what I spent on snacks. The cookies were gone. There was some chips and some juice boxes left and some water, which I fed to our whammers on Sunday. Paper maps. I've submitted 2 quotes for review for our paper maps. I got some updates from Kristen Wolfang this morning. So if we get this approved, we can send them to the printers and have them in a very short period of time. We're down to like the bare minimum and not one thing on those things, including the phone numbers right. Lawn waste, we've talked about it in the past. We've got some homeowners that are dumping waste on the trail. I did contact one directly. I did explain what was going on. I helped him clean it up. He's elderly and infirmed. I believe a family member helped him out, and that's how it got on the trail. We talked about it. Everything is going to be fine. After the meeting, Curtis Wright and I are going to go down the trail. We're going to mark some of the offenders, and we're going to take a little more aggressive approach. Pure Michigan Trail, I've not heard anything from the DNR. The only thing I've gotten back from them is it's in review. So who knows? I'll keep you posted on that one. Parking lot naming. I've got a couple of ideas for our 4 parking lots. I'm hesitant to name our parking lots per se. The one at Leonard was always named after a family who had contributed a lot to the trail. It was on the mile marker signs up there, the 4-foot by 4-foot wayfinder sign. When we took it down, they were a little distressed that their name was no longer on that parking lot. I'd kind of like to somehow honor that family. They're the ones that drilled the well originally, that allowed us to get our drinking fountain up there. So I'd like to, in some fashion, name that area after that particular family. She's kind of considered the mother of the trail. She and Larry did a lot of work at her kitchen table to make the trail happen. So I think that possibly we should honor that family. Our parking lot, or our pocket park over on Powell Street, I would like to do something again in honor of Sue Bellairs, who was a very instrumental woman and a very go-getter in our community, and also Mr. and Mrs. Joe Gwynn, who helped make the property what it is and donated the property. I was kind of bagging some things around. Mike suggested maybe B&G Park. You know, sounds kind of railroad-ish. That might be something kind of fun. The other 2 parking lots, Clarkston and Lake George, you know, I'm kind of hesitant to name those at this time or come up with a name. I'm kind of deferring to council. You know, we don't have to put a name on it. Maybe we save those in reserve for something in the future. You know, it's not a baseball stadium. We don't have to get a name on everything. If you don't need enough money, you can get a name, I guess. But those 2, the Leonard and the Powell Street, I think we should honor them. A lot of good things were done with those, and the Leonard was named after the family for a very long time. Ongoing business. Our new visa is working great. And gee whiz, I hit that 3,000 mark real quick. So we got our $500 back plus our 1.5 cash back. So that's going great. Curtis does have access to that. We had a little glitch with the computer, so I think you can probably give us the total. I do not have the total that's outstanding or what the
balance on the account.
and I don't have the cash back.
Yeah, the outstanding balance is like $2,400 and some dollars. It may have been in the bill run. But that's that, and then the
Cash back?
the balance would be coming on the next bill. The cash back are probably, I would say, is a 6 to 8 week window
Yeah.
to get that back onto the account.
So the June 1st Oxford Ladies Club Pollyant Trail event is moving along great. We are getting a lot of big sponsors. Not like big names, but people in our community are really going deep on this one. We're getting $1,000 donations here and there. It's going to be a very profitable and very rewarding event for all concerned. I'm really looking forward to having a lot of participation in the 5K walk. I think it'll be a really good annual event. New business. The Clarkson Road parking lot is fabulous. Wham and I were out there working with my poor long-suffering husband. We put in a split rail fence, we put in planters, we put in birdhouses, we planted flowers. I can't even tell you all the fabulousness we did over there. EWS, Environmental Wood Solution, brought over dirt, gave us it was pretty much free. Delivered it to us. It's just great. And on that note, what happened on Monday, Aaron, that I was godsmacked about? In
All
Orion
kinds of
Township.
stuff. I don't know.
Orion Township. I was named Orion Township Citizen.
Oh, yeah.
I can't believe I forgot that.
I not even showered for the occasion.
It was a long day.
Yeah, and let me tell you, I didn't expect it. It was pretty fantastic.
like up there. So that's like one of our best awards we give to our citizens, so we
I'm
really
in
appreciate
the
it.
same category as people that rush into burning buildings and save babies.
It's accurate.
I move dirt. Anyway, the continuing progress over at the Clarkston, I did check with the Road Commission about the right-of-way. I am going to be putting some very large boulders over on the section that is beyond their right-of-way. We are having people driving all over that area, and my grass is dying, and I spent a lot of time and effort watering that through the drought last year to get it to have grass. So some really big boulders are being delivered by EWS here in the next week to 10 days. Donnie Steele, I kind of like to have Donnie kind of touch on this. Can we come back to this when?
That's on the agenda.
It's on the agenda?
It's on the
Come back to
agenda.
that. And the washout at Gerst, we have a pretty big washout at Gerst. It's not the culvert that is failing, it is the ground around the culvert. Dave and I have looked at it, we've taken some pictures. We can take care of it pretty easily once the spring rains go down, and it shouldn't cost us more than a couple $100 to get that fixed, which is also on the agenda. I also have photos of it. And Roland, our last. We got a report of some pretty nasty big trees down on the 3rd of April, out just east of Roland Road. There were a lot of big trees down. My friend Mark called. He and his son ran out and started cutting up the wood. I mean, it was epic out there. You couldn't pass it. It was really... I went out Thursday morning to take a look at it, and we moved another trailer load of the wood. I had to cut the vines away to get the trees out. It's just a mess. Mark, my friend Mark, his son, and my Mark went out again on the 5th to remove everything we could except for a very large oak, which is going to require a very large blade. A friend of mine who has a 48-inch saw is going to come out and take care of it here after Easter. The trail is clear and is passable. We did have a confrontation with a homeowner that lives there. He claimed that we were trespassing on his property, that the wood was his. He was demanding that we basically take the wood that was cut and in my truck to his house and deliver it to his house. And I explained to him in a very calm voice that the wood was on the trail. We removed it for safety. It was not his wood. It was the Pollyant Trail's wood. But going forward, if he would like to, at any point, contact me about downed wood, he's more than welcome, under my guidance, to take the wood away. He can use it. I mean, I'm begging people to come out and help me get wood off the trail. He wasn't real happy about that. He was threatening to call the police as he was zooming up and down the trail in his ATV, and I have a real problem with ATVs on the trail. I kind of let that go. I also pulled the gateway. We were well within our legal rights. We were well within our 50 feet, and the wood came home with me. So I haven't heard anything more from the guy, so I just figure it was just a homeowner trying to flex his muscles to see what he could get. So that, I don't even know the guy's name. So that was just an incident that happened. But I got to tell you, my Mark, the other Mark, and his son said that I handled it very well. And nobody went to jail, so that was a good thing. The last thing on our list is, and it's on the agenda, I need cement. I talked to Joe Gwynn. He said that he would do the labor for free, but he would have to charge us for cement, which would be between $800 and $850. That's a steal for a 12 by 12. I'm not going to ask him for free. He said he would do it free for us last year, but he did all that work over at Clarkston. He did that cement pour for free. He installed the water fountain for free. He delivered rock. I can't. He did all that work over at Powell. I just can't ask him for something free. So I think for cost, he's still giving it to us for free. He's like a super nice guy. And he's also the one that donated that property over at Powell Street. He's also the one I'd like to kind of get his name on it a little bit somehow. And that's it. So that was quick.
Anything for Linda on all those items? Anything you'd like to discuss?
Trail looks nice.
Very nice.
Thanks. Thank you very much.
All right, if nothing further, thank you, Linda, for that report. We'll file that accordingly. and move on to new business item A, and we're going back to naming of the trail properties in question. Linda did send some pictures. I'm going to pass these around because she can't get the PowerPoint up and running.
Yep, and I have PowerPoint, if anybody wants to come and look at it. I have some lovely pictures of all kinds
But
of
there's 6 properties that she sent. There's a parking lot at Clarkston Road, the Indianwood parking lot, Powell Park. There's the parking lot on Lake George Road. There's a parking lot in Leonard, and there's one in parking lot in Leonard with a corral.
It's the same parking lot.
So,
there's 5 entities.
so Linda, your recommendation was to leave Clarkston Road as is with no name, Indianwood with no name, Powell Park, there's been suggestions of Bel Air / Gwynn Park or B&G Park. And I don't know if there's anything else that come along with that.
I have an epiphany.
You have an epiphany, okay? Go ahead.
Okay.
Right
so-
season.
Okay, being that it's the Pollyant Trail and it's the old railroad bed, I think that we should go like roads, railed parking, Indianwood Crossing, George Lake George Junction, Powell Wayne Station Park. It's just a fun thing. And then that way we can keep in tune to what we have known, what they are, and to keep kind of, that's all. The Iron Bell Crossing parking, something. So when you say no names, you can't call them no names because everybody will say it's at the corner of Clarkson, blah, 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 for the next 20 years.
Yeah.
We call it Roads Road.
Road.
Trailhead.
Roads, rail.
Rose Rail. You know, any of that's good, and then we just have to figure out, are we gonna do some kind of funky little sign? You know, how are we gonna designate it? When the Iron Bell Towers went up, Mike and I talked about it, and that's how those red circles have Pollyant Trail on them, because that was discussed. You know, we saw these things, and it's like, so what do those mean? So the Pollyant Trail was added when those signs went up, to kind of give it a designation. So we could do something funky with like a little railroad sign with the name on there, out in the parking lot, you know, something kind of
Yeah, I like that idea.
flashy, you know,
I think it's a great idea.
yeah.
So,
Keep the spirit of the old railroad line, intact. Yeah, good idea.
Thanks.
The
about it, Mike.
railroads used to call their storage and parking areas yards. So it could be, it's briefer than what Donnie said, but I'm not opposed to that either. But you could have the Lake George yard, you could have the, Powell, whatever. The thing is I think before we settle permanently on any name, we should run it by the community and make sure there's no objection to it. I know in the village, everybody thinks it's better, I shouldn't say everybody, but I canvassed my village council, and the majority feel that it should be representative of the village, but they agree with Linda's suggestion that we should have some kind of placarding like we normally do for donated items and recognize those donations. So the well has never actually been identified as having been donated, but we could do that at this time, if that's the direction that the council wants to go in.
so what I'm hearing is that we need to, number one, have names. Number two, they need to be taken to council or board to see if there's okay with moving forward. And then number three, we need signages, some design for signs. So what I would recommend is I can put this on my May Township Board agenda to see if the Township Board's in favor of this, or I can push it back another month, that we would come back and have our recommendation to our boards and councils to say, this is what we want to do, these are the names we want, do you object? So I guess I'm opening the floor to
B.
B. So plan it for a June meeting
Yeah.
for the township boards and councils. Come back in May for our council to fine tune or finalize what we want to request, and then we'll move it forward.
Sounds good to me.
That
I
work?
actually thought the opposite. Let's just give them our recommendation and they'll say, okay.
Well,
We can
yeah,
save a whole month.
Well, that's what I had envisioned as well.
So I thought
So
we
you-
had two suggestions.
So
trying to
you
see.
want to do this now, then? My meeting's May 8th, and we don't meet again until the 15th. So, right, so that's my dilemma.
I think you have a good idea. We should have some example that we can give to our local boards. You know, the railroad theme or area theme or village theme, you know.
Elgin?
I like the idea of the railroad theme, and I very much like the idea and the direction that Mike is taking this.
He's ahead of us.
Right.
He's already asked his council what's going on, if they
Right.
like it, the idea.
I
it's
think
great.
that's, even though generally we own the property and have every right to call it whatever we want, I think if we should extend that courtesy to the local communities. They may know something or have a better idea that we haven't thought of, so at least we could do that.
Yeah, at least give an opportunity to hear what is going to happen.
Right.
And see if they have input, yeah.
I think that's a great idea.
So what we're talking about is taking it local in May and come back here in June?
That would be my proposal. I can put it on my May 8th agenda. This is what we're doing from the Pollyant Trail Council. Do you like it, don't like it? Do you want us to do something different? And if you have no objection, we'll get in my case, the Township Board approval to authorize the Pollyant Trail to move forward.
Sounds good.
Is that a motion? Do we need to make a motion?
I'll make that motion. Whatever Curtis just said.
I want him to repeat it.
Now, do you want me to find a couple of mock-up sign type items, railroad, where we could put signs on it? Like, look up how they used to have the old railroad signs for the crossings?
You'll need those. You'll need something to have a base
Yeah.
to build from.
Yeah, I'll just kind of, I'll figure out, I'll
To
get a
put
couple
that
of
in the
different.
minutes, that way we can show locally then, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, just kind of like,
Yeah.
you know, I can email it to all of you, except
Right.
Elgin, because his emails keep coming back on me.
Right, there's nothing like a visual. No, I think that's a
Yeah.
good idea.
And we can just say, you know, we can put a name here, we can, you know, this is the kind of sign design we're thinking.
Right.
Just so people, you know, when you can see and touch something, it makes things a lot easier for people. You know, abstract is hard to get a grasp of.
Yeah, I think especially this kind of brings out the history for the trail.
I like it.
I think that, I think that's, you know, right now, people hear, oh, yeah, there's a trail, there's people walk on it, and this is, but they don't know what originally was there, so I think that's a good historic touch.
I like it.
Okay.
Okay, we have a motion from Councilor Stumpf to recommend to our various councils and boards to approve the naming of the Pollyant Trail parking lots and parks, and have that reported back to us for consideration for approval at our May 15th council meeting. I need a second on that motion.
I'll support.
Okay, I have a motion and a second from Elgin Nichols. Now, is everybody able to meet that deadline? To get us recommendations for their council and board meetings? Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed?
Can I get
Okay.
a copy of those pictures?
You can have those pictures.
Well, you
If you
have all
like.
7 of them?
Well, what I can do is I can email council.
Okay,
these,
that would
but
be
you're
good.
welcome to those.
Okay,
If you'd like.
thanks.
If you'd like on that.
Leonard Yard.
Okay, the next item on our agenda is citizen representative appointment. This was brought out from our interlocal agreement that we need to appoint or reappoint our citizen rep over a 2-year period. And there is a motion in the packet if you're in favor of moving forward.
I'd like to move to approve, or reappoint, Kevin Green as the non-voting citizen at large to the Pollyant Trail Management Council for a 2-year term that would expire on April 17th, 2021.
Support.
Okay, a motion by Councilor McDonald, second by Councilor Nichols to reappoint Kevin Green for a 2-year term expiring April 17, 2021. Just as a note on that, I put that date as today for 2 years because I didn't know if that would be retroactive or whether just continue on where we're at. So that's why it's in there. Can we get a roll call on that, please?
Yes, sir. Curtis Wright.
Yes.
Mike McDonald.
Yes.
Elgin Nichols, yes. Daniel Steele. Donnie Steele. Change your name,
Yes.
Donnie.
Yes.
Okay. Aaron Wadley.
Yes.
Eric Sant.
Yes.
Wouldn't be sitting here.
Bruce Pearson is absent.
Yeah, you'd be right in there.
You're on my book tour.
Okay, motion does carry. On to item 9C, this would be a Pollyant Trail event request from an organization called Holy Spokes. Linda, do you want to give a little more background on the event?
Holy Spokes, this will be the second year. We did an event with them last year. They ride from the Orion Township Library out. It is a ride of silence. It's kind of to bring awareness of people that have been injured and killed bicycling and different things like that. It's a really good organization. We didn't have any problems last year. It's at 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. at night on May 15th, which is a Wednesday. So I think last year they had pretty close to 100, and I think they're anticipating that many again. So it's a good organization, and there's no conflicts. They'll have their insurance in place. There shouldn't be any problems.
Where are they using the trail?
They're going to go, the Orion Township Library, they ride down, like north onto Joslin, and then down the Pollyant Trail, and they end up at Woodside Church. And the Oakland County Sheriff with them, that kind of guides the crossings. So
All documents have been
they will
received?
have their insurance right before the event. So we've been having a little problem with our emails, so if worse comes to worse, we'll snail mail it. We'll have it by the date, so it'll be okay.
Okay.
So,
Heard any further questions on that? Not a motion is in order.
I move to approve the request from Holy Spokes to utilize the Pollyant Trail for an event scheduled for May 15, 2019, contingent on receipt of all required documents, including insurance coverage.
Second.
Okay, motion by Councilor Nichols, second by Councilor Senft to approve the Holy Spokes event scheduled for May 15. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, the motion carries. On to unfinished business. This is the direction last month for dealing with our website. We've had numerous issues with it up to this point, and as far as I know, it is not back up in order. So at the direction of council last month, Linda Moran went out and solicited for some quotes for services. She did receive 2 quotes back. One was from IT Right, which was not in your packet, but there was another one in your packet from OCS Web Design. Michelle Overton is here from OCS Web Design, if there's any questions for her, but I want to continue on that. There's been no decision made to relieve our existing website contractor of their duties at this point. So I want to open up the floor to any issues or concerns that you feel that need to be discussed before making a decision or no decision. Councilor McDonald, you did have some things you wanted to talk about, so I'll have you start off.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. First of all, I want to make sure that the public understands that we're not criticizing any current contractors or besmirching them. We've had a number of problems that are basically, with a lot of things electronic, are hard to deal with and hard to attribute fault. So that said, our current provider, Lois Golden, has a long history with the trail, still wants to support the trail, and we need to be considerate of that as we move forward. That being said, I do think it is time for us to update our website, but in doing so, I don't want to just have a website designer design a website and then leave us holding the bag for figuring out who's going to maintain it, how hard will it be to maintain, etc. So before we settle on a vendor, my desire would be to get the complete package, so to speak. In other words, we'll know what the services, what the design will cost, what the services to maintain it, and what, if any, costs there will be for transferring ownership or the URL or whatever it is that they do, and to make sure that that all works. So I did not see that spelled out specifically in the proposal from OCS, and I didn't see the other submission, but it appears, at least reading the facing page, that the basic site creation is what we're being quoted for, and that doesn't include additional work. That's how I read it. Okay, so I could be wrong, but that's what I see. Okay, thank you for the opportunity to
Are there
speak.
other comments from council?
Yeah.
Councilor Soft?
I have a question on, in the last meeting, we discussed some possibly exiting details from the existing contractor, I guess we'll just call that person, where we, in great detail, defined what it was that we will receive if that contractor would be sunset. What's the status of that?
Last week, I did receive an email with some passwords on it. I don't know, I was not supplied, I don't know who our web host server is. I have no idea who that is to this day. I have been told by people I've contacted to seek bids for that it's GoDaddy. And I found that out from somebody who's not even related to the trail or the management. I have passwords. I don't know how they work, and it took me until late last week to get a list of passwords. That's all I've gotten.
Yeah, I guess just one finishing remark is, we need to understand how the transition will work before we make a commitment for the next step.
Right.
Yes.
Did you have an opportunity to talk about backup and availability of that information and how the transition will be made to you?
I have received no information. I have requested it by email. I've requested it on phone. I was given no information. They did not want to release any information to an untrained person that did not have skills in IT or computer matters. They were hesitant to release that.
Go ahead.
I did speak with Ms. Golden about that, and her position, the last time I spoke with her, is that it would, to her, it does not make sense to give us a backup of the website because it will change every time there's a change made. And so we'd have to, there'd have to be continuous backups, which really, I can't rationalize or understand why that would be the case, but that was her response. And I think she told you that too at some point, didn't she, Linda, or no?
Yeah, that it wouldn't behoove us to get anything. There's
Right.
nothing to get.
Yeah, that really doesn't make sense, because she's a contractor working on behalf of the Pollyant Trail, and she should be willing to give Pollyant Trail whatever we're requesting on our behalf.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
my background dictates that that is false, that that information should be available to you. Why she's not providing it, I have no idea. Obviously, we're not getting the cooperation that you asked for. We're not getting the results that we've asked for. So certainly, I think we should move forward on this then and review these other contracts or potential contracts or agreements.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, if I can have the floor again here.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree with what was just said, and I think what we can maybe discuss as we go forward, possibly there's no need for a backup. If we're going into a contract with a brand-new creation that's going to be maintained, is there any need for the backup? So, you might just cut bait with that, just say that's it. So we'll keep that in thought as we go into our new discussions. That would be my recommendation.
Okay. Go ahead.
I'm in agreement with that. I think we have to start out fresh and take a whole new approach to this.
Yeah.
Okay, what I'm going to do at this time is I'm going to invite Michelle Overton up to the podium. Is that hooked in, wired in? If she speaks at the podium? Okay, yeah, if you go up there, Michelle, give us an overview of what you've supplied to us and what you've heard here today. Not that we're necessarily going to make a decision right now, but as far as the issues that you've heard and what you know, how can you help us?
Well, listening to you speak is exactly why I have the policy that I have. I don't own your content, your files, you do. I don't own your passwords. Oh, sorry. I don't own your content, your passwords, your information, you do. And what I suggested moving forward is you have your own hosting, your own information. Everyone's aware of how to get to it. I call it an in case I die file. I give it to people as soon as I finish their website. I have over 15 years in this community experience doing websites for every government entity with Oxford. I did stop doing websites through OCS Design 2 years ago when my son had a very bad accident, and I'm now back in the community and back doing them again. So this was very exciting for me when I got the call, because this, puts me backward doing what I love. I feel there's so many things we could be doing with this site that we're not doing. I walk the trail every day. I am sad we don't have vignettes of, the lookout or the cool places you can sit. I just have a ton of ideas. Just by going through your master plan, there's just a ton of things that are highlighted in the master plan that we could pull out into the site, let the community know where things are, what's going on. We're naming parking lots, where they're located. How do you walk through the crosswalk? I live by that crosswalk. When they hit that button, I was not sure what to do the first time. It scared me half to death. So these are things I think that should be on the website, that it should be more community-driven. I'd like to see things that, seasonal, when it's winter, what does it look like, when it's summer? How do you have an event on the trail? These are things that I was looking at on the site as a community person who's been kind of out of the community for a while. I haven't been going to the meetings and haven't been involved with the government in a few years. As a homeowner and a person who lives here, there's a lot of things I'd like to do to this website to make it more fun and interactive for everyone else. So just listening to you guys, I had a ton of ideas, of things that we could do moving forward. But your biggest concern, do you have a one-stop shop? Do you have someone who's going to help you? Is somebody going to leave you holding the keys and not knowing to? No, absolutely not. Even after I left my business and I would be on my lunch hour, I still helped the township. I still helped Parks and Rec, even when I wasn't under contract. I am not going to leave you high and dry. I never would. So I think that stands for something. Bill, Don, everyone knows me. I've been around a long time, unless you've been new to the place in the last few years. So I think that helps as far as what will happen if OCS Design does your website. As far as your email goes and all of that, your hosting company will be the one that would supply you with ultimate support. But if something were to go wrong, I can help you out. I can set it up on your machines. You can have it on your phones, your tablets. You can go to a webmail account. That I can help support you in. Because you'll be hosted through another company, not myself personally, that website will be updated 5 times a day. It will be backed up 5 times a day. Anytime you want to get it back up, it will be right there for you within the last 3 hours. So that's something you'll never have to deal with again if you were concerned about that. Was there questions you had for me, and I can stop talking?
Well, one thing is, we're in a, I don't know if quandary is the right word, but as far as, it's as if we have an existing web host person that has information that's reluctant to give it to us. Is there any way that you would be able to get some of that information for us?
I don't need anything from her to do the new website. I've already copied your content, saved your pictures, and downloaded your forms. We're good to go. I actually am going to email that to her after the meeting, so you don't need a backup. You just don't.
Councilor McDonald.
Well, the one thing that we lost when the website went down is the electronic minutes and meeting agendas and things like that. And I don't know if those are recoverable on our own without her assistance. I would imagine they went back many, at least 10 years. So I really think that we should specifically...
Is she the only keeper of that?
Specifically, the originals come from the council.
Okay.
After, when the meetings minutes are approved, that's when they're posted. But probably in the last 10 years, we've done it electronically, so to speak. So I would like to include in any action that we take, that we specifically request from our current provider that those files in particular be returned to us, because I think we own them as part of our former contracts with her.
I have a serious question in my mind that she even has that backup of all those minutes and so forth that you talked about as far as history. Has anybody ever seen that?
I didn't see them on the
Probably
current
not.
website.
Right.
When I went through it, I did not find a minutes and agenda page.
I got a feeling it's not there. And that's the reason why she's hesitant in getting the information. But one question I would have is security. As you know, we were hacked. What is your program for protecting us?
Well, the problem with security is if you don't keep your software updated, you're going to get hacked. And when you are finding a problem with spamming, there's software you can install to stop the spamming. One of the things I noticed, when you look at the footer of a website and you see the date, that tells you the last time that software has been updated. When you look at the footer of our current website for the Pollyant Trail site, it says 2004. So I have a feeling that the core software, the framework maybe is not updated properly, and that's why you're having these spam issues. When my sites that I use, a content management site, when there is a hole in a software or a plugin or something needs to be updated and you don't do that, that will spam out to emails. It will bring you down. So those are things you have to be on top of, and that's something that I provide in the aftercare of your website. Here's how you update your software. This is what, it's very simple steps. What you do next, who you contact if there's a problem, if you don't want to pay for maintenance. I train whoever wants to be responsible for that, how to look for that and what to do. I think that's why you're having those problems.
Councilor McDonald.
How much does maintenance cost? Is it a monthly, a yearly thing? And by maintenance, I mean exactly what you're discussing. Keeping I assume that the company that we go online with is
It pops up and
responsible.
update. What happens when you go into the back end, it's a web-based tool, so anyone could update it. You don't have to have special software. That's the nice thing, is she could update it from her cell phone if she wanted to. You could be on the trail and push pictures up to the website from your phone. But I think that the things that we don't need to be worried about so much moving forward is that you have all that. I'm sorry, I kind of lost track with what the question was when I
Well,
went
the real
sidetracked.
question is
Yeah.
cost. And
Oh, the cost. The cost is going to be minimal. It depends on what you want to do. If you want me to have a contract for $45 a month, I will go in there every month, update your software, do this update, add some pictures, do some social media. I can do that.
We need
Absolutely.
our minutes and agendas
And I have a
posted.
little thing for you that you can choose which package you want as far as maintenance goes, or I can train a staff member to do it themselves,
No,
whichever you want.
I don't think we're going to train, are we?
Yeah.
That doesn't, we've hired our trail manager to manage the trail.
It's difficult.
I don't-
That's
Yeah.
not her
And
job.
it's- yeah.
Her job is to do her
Right.
job.
You
Yeah.
can't go in and out. If you don't
And that
use it, you
takes
lose
away
it.
From her
So,
doing what
Right.
what she's meant to do and what she's gifted to do. You need to have somebody who knows what they're doing. It's done faster.
but that would be a separate arrangement.
Right, what you saw in that contract is simply the charge for me to take all that data, design a new website, set up a new email, make sure everything's there, add some cool new things, some functionality, bring it some new life. That's that fee, that's a bit of work. Then after that, if you decide, yes, we want Michelle to continue, or OCS Design to continue to maintain the site, sure, there's different things we can do. I have, how much do you want me to do each month, or as a needed basis, and per update. I'll do it that way as well. Did you have a question as well? I'm sorry.
Yeah, excuse my ignorance on websites, but so what you're proposing is just to design, develop, but we would still have to go our own route with hosting the website?
Well, the
With, like-
hosting, we'll get new hosting, either through GoDaddy or
Okay.
through one-on-one. Right now, the reason why
But
you
that's
can't
an additional
tell
charge, though.
who's hosting it is because I believe she's hosting it on a personal server.
Okay.
Now, the hosting company I've used for the last 20 years is one-on-one, and it's Ionis now. It's $1 a month. It would cost you to $12. That includes backups every month, 25 emails, unlimited bandwidth, and then it's $8 a month moving forward the next year. So the total cost for you to move your site would be the cost of my fee and $12.
What about the website address?
Well, that I am hoping, from what I saw in the GoDaddy information, that someone in the Trailway has access to the email for the admin to that domain, which is through GoDaddy. If for some reason we don't, and we have a problem getting that domain back, when you sign up with the new hosting company, you get a domain included for free. We'd have to get something very similar, unfortunately. But let's hope that doesn't happen. Let's hope that we are able to easily transfer that domain name. As long as I know who's got the email that says, yes, it's okay to transfer it and checks that box, then it gets transferred.
But just so we know, there's ongoing, you may purchase that website, that domain title for 2 years, but then there's an additional fee.
Yearly maintenance.
Yearly
It's
maintenance.
typically around $14 a month is an average charge for a domain name. So like yearly maintenance would be the domain charge, but you also will have your quarterly hosting charge, but you're going to pay for it up front the first year. Then it would be whatever $8 is every 3 months after that. So it's very minimal, considering that you have 24-hour support from them, 24-hour support for your email. And then as far as the maintenance where I'm concerned, I need to make sure I keep the Joomla software updated, the components and plugins updated. Some of that does cost money. It'll cost me like $15 to re-up a membership for a component. So that's where I'll put a little maintenance fee. It's $45 for this, because that covers me keeping everything updated. And that goes for any site that I've designed. I need to revisit a lot of people on updating their software. People don't realize now when you build a website, you don't just leave it. You have to continually update it, take care of it, maintain it, or you'll get spammed, you'll get hacked, you'll have problems. Things have changed.
Linda?
I was told by Joe Ferrari that he has paid the 2-year domain license and that up for another renewal here shortly, and that he does have the password to that
good.
domain site.
Then he has access to the domain. Then we shouldn't have any problem transferring it.
Good news.
That is good news, that's the best news.
Yes, Don?
Facebook and connecting to,
Social media?
yes, ma'am.
Yep, no problem. I actually have some tools now that will push it out or push it in. Like anything she posts will get pushed onto your page, so they'll see it, and you don't have to do it double. There's a lot of really neat tools now that even if you had Twitter, I even suggested maybe she gets an Instagram account, because everybody's so into Instagram right now. There's this one little stop, and you can push it all to all those medias. I know. People are even buying things off of Instagram now. So, these are things that keeps us relevant with the community. It keeps them, the trail in their mind. If the trail has an Instagram account, ooh, okay, look at how cool this. We saw this on the trailer, we saw that on the trail. She can quickly post that on Instagram like in 2 seconds. Doesn't take her away from her job or anything. And then there you go, it's pushed right onto the site.
She needs a new phone,
So-
though.
Yeah.
Because your little pictures are like this when you send them over.
Yes, we'll have to buy you a brand new phone. Yeah, really nice one.
I have an iPhone. What is it?
Right. So, was there any other questions?
Not for you, Michelle, in particular, but I'm wondering, do we have anything written with our existing contractor for termination of services? Anything written that needs a
I don't-
30-day window?
While I was serving as chair, I don't believe we renewed or initiated any new contracts. We just, she would send an occasional bill or whatever, and we would just pay it. I think the term of any contract we had would have expired some time ago, but we should check.
You remember that?
Needs a letter of termination, I think.
You're right, Mike, I remember that discussion.
Yeah.
I would wait until the new site's done.
Good point.
Mr. Chairman, just doing some quick math. It looks like we get a break the first year from GoDaddy. It's a buck a month.
It's one to one.
Oh, it's the hosting company?
Yes.
It's Ionis 1-in-1, yeah. They have a special right now, it's $1 a month, you pay up front, it's $12. So
And
the
then
first
after
year-
that, it'll be $96 a year.
Yeah,
Okay.
yep, which is not bad.
So if we put it together, we're looking at about $840 a year for maintenance, hosting. I'm using the word that Aaron used.
And updates.
That's a good word.
And
And,
website updates.
And then the domain costs, it comes to about $850, plus or minus. We're probably spending in the area of $300 a year on average over the last few years. So we're talking a difference in price, but it means we also,
Get what you pay for.
I didn't say that, but
Oh, did I? Sorry. It came out my mouth.
it's okay.
Well, even with social media posting, it's becoming quite pricey to have people do
Costs
that.
us more than that.
I mean, you know, it's becoming a big thing, having people post media, all of it. It's,
Okay. Thank you.
Donnie, you had your hand up.
I just, one other, the email, you don't have email hosting, and so you have to have your own email, Linda, or you have to have a new email, because that was hacked too somewhere along
well,
the
she'll
line.
still have email. You get 25 email accounts with your hosting.
Oh, 25, not, okay.
No, not like 25 cent or receipt.
Thank you. I was like,
Yeah, no, what I like about one and one, why I've used them
It's
for so
1
long,
hour.
is you do get a large amount of email accounts with even your very basic hosting package.
Okay.
Where GoDaddy, they want to charge you $30 a month for every extra email you add on to your package.
so you'll be up
there's different
and
things.
rolling with your email. I mean,
Yeah.
oh, yeah.
Yeah, we'll work on making sure she backs everything up, saves anything she really needs. There's a lot of things to put in place before you just go ahead and switch that. But I have a whole process for when you do something like this.
So I understand we will be able to keep our polyandtrailway.org
Hopefully,
website?
yeah. If Joe Ferrari has control over the domain, yes, there
Okay.
shouldn't be any problems whatsoever. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't see any problem.
Anything further?
Is she going to charge us to hold Linda's hand?
Listen, when I go on the ledge, you either get it or Curtis gets it, that's all. When I go on the ledge, because.
I only live 5 minutes away.
I'll take the
so
ledge.
she
I'll take the
knows.
I think you're
I'm
perfect.
very local. so-
But next month, Michelle will be putting her house up for sale because
No.
she's never seen it.
No.
Aaron, go ahead.
The $45 is you're taking care of it kind of thing?
Yeah, everything you need this month, if you need pictures posted, like I have a little chart, so many pictures, social media update, a website update, software update. You need to go on your site at least once a month and make sure everything's okay and what it does is it pushes an alert on the admin panel that tells you with a little red button, this plugin, this software, this component needs to be updated right now. So that's how you know.
Go ahead, Elgin.
If we should go forward with this, how long will it take us to get it up and running?
From the time that I sign a contract and I have the hosting company paid for, signed up and ready to go, 2 weeks.
Okay.
Depending on how picky people are, how I design the site. Yeah, it usually doesn't take me more than 2 weeks if everything's in place. If I run into problems, I let her know. I'm like, well, I'm having a problem with this if it's beyond my control. I already have the content. I have everything we need to do it. And the Facebook page has some fabulous pictures that I can use. So I
Thank
think
you
we're
with my
okay.
tiny little pictures of my tiny little
I'll
phone.
get one more. I guess my last comment would be, based on everything I heard, especially, Mike, to your point about the increase in cost, okay? I think you get what you pay for. Based on everything I hear, this is the right thing. This is going to get us a lot more exposure. You'll be safer. Especially, we talked earlier about renaming our parking lots.
It's
There
fun.
could be a theme,
Yeah.
a railroad theme right on the website in connection with Facebook. I mean, these are all the right things to do to promote the trail. So I liked everything I heard.
Well, like I said, just going through, I'm in the process of redesigning the village of Lake Orion site, and I went through their master plan, because there's fun things in there that you didn't realize that somebody put a lot of work into, so I went through your master plan. And I'm like, look at all this stuff that's not, people don't go through that. You need to pull that out and show it to them and highlight it and give them that to look forward to when they go to the trail. So I just think there's a lot of neat things we could do moving forward, so.
And we're updating our 5-year master plan.
Oh, good. Yeah, that was.
Elgin.
Yeah, I agree with Eric, and I did like your answer to security. That's exactly what people need to do. So I'm in agreement with Eric.
You will need to get, you should get, and it comes free with your hosting an SSL. Google is now requiring that every website has an SSL certificate. It's another way, I guess, for Google to make money. So basically, it protects you from like it really doesn't do much of anything, but they're making you do it. So that comes with your package. So you'll get that little green lock, at the top of your site, and it will show it's secure. That's just common practice now.
And SSL stands for?
Secured
Site License.
Secured socket layer, thank you, yeah, it just keeps
Okay,
it secure.
okay.
It keeps that layer secure and doesn't let people, you don't have any money passing through, but if you ever wanted to, you could do a donate to the trail if you wanted to do something like that. You could put a donate button on there. I think you should have friends of the trail, people who have donated for parking lots and have a little section that highlights,
Their
super person of the
gift,
month.
yeah.
I'm listening to you throughout this whole meeting, writing frantically ideas of things that that we should do, that the community, I live here, I'd like to know that, so.
Okay, I'm going to bring this in order for, if you're in favor of moving forward with the contractor, in this case, OCS Design is in the packet for recommendation. So if that's the case, then we'll entertain a motion to move forward.
I make a motion that we go into contract with OSC Design for the details in the contract.
Support.
Let's say cost.
No, we'll get to that. I got a motion and a second on the floor. Motion by Counselor Sempf, second by Counselor Nichols to approve the quote from OCS Design. In your packet, there was a motion to include the amount of $1,500 to move forward. But what I'm hearing is that you would like to have a monthly maintenance fee in addition to that $1,500.
Once we're done, yeah.
And the web hosting for $8 or $12 rather. So probably that motion amount should be increased.
If you include the yearly maintenance with it, right?
Right, if you want that.
If you guys decide to do that.
Yep, go ahead, Mike.
I'd like to offer that thought. We should amend, I'd like to have the motion maker entertain the idea of including a contract with a separate contract to include maintenance and management of the site, not to exceed that $45 a month amount.
What I usually do is I put a little thing in there that says if there's anything above and beyond requested, then I discuss with you what that cost may be. Like you may decide to put an app on the site out of nowhere. Then I would say, okay, we'll talk about that separately. But I always make sure that if it's anything different, I would never charge you until we agree on that first.
Well,
So, you know.
the situation here is that we're spending public money. We
Right.
meet once a month. So I would like to see it authorized at today's meeting, at least for that amount, for that purpose, so that we can get this up and running.
So your
But that's
suggestion,
my suggestion, it's not a motion, I mean.
Okay.
the motion is by Eric and the second is by Algen, but you're looking at like a 1 month maintenance?
No, I don't know, if you're going to pay for the design, we want everything together. At least that was what I had hoped to see. Just like we have now, our current provider did everything at our request. So if we're going to do anything, we should at least maintain that.
So would you like to see that for a year maintenance?
I
Or
think
6 months?
I think that would be logical. But
So we would need the base of $1,500. We need $45 a month for a year is $540, and then the $12 for the
setup.
annual one-on-one. Elgin?
Yeah, my understanding is that maintenance is something which is after something is up and running.
Right.
So, you know, we're assuming here, not assuming, but according to contract, she will have this up and running, and then we'll determine the maintenance and what time it's to be instated. Is that correct?
That's what I normally do, is when we finish, we go, okay, let's look at what your normal activities are with your business. When are good times for you to update? What do you usually have a high activity level? We just kind of work out a plan that works for each of us. And then I actually do guidelines. When you need me to do something, this is how we're going to do it. You get a 48-hour turnaround time, unless it's a holiday Friday or a weekend, you know, that type of thing. So there's guidelines, so there is expectations that are met by both of us. So there's no, why isn't this done? This is what I'm supposed to do when you ask me to do it, and we sign a maintenance contract stating that. So that's what I do when we go into that portion of it after I'm done designing the website. I like to keep them separate because one is a project and then one is an ongoing relationship, you know.
So let me back up here. Would you like to just approve the contract and then bring back a maintenance agreement for the next May meeting? Because
if we do that, our website's not going to get up.
That's not true. It'll get out. It will.
So
I don't
Are
need it.
you going to pay for the hosting and the...
Well, no, you'll pay for one. I want to get hosting done.
Okay.
Right, you'll pay for that. Then once you give me the passwords and the username, because I'll have you decide what that is.
Okay.
Here's our username, here's our password. Then I go into the hosting and create the website. Then when I'm done I get the second half of the payment because I get half up front, half when I'm finished. I only get the half when you love it and you're ready for it to go live. Then I sit with Linda and we go through everything and we decide what we're going to do moving forward as far as what's the launch date. We do some testing and it goes live. And then we decide, maybe before it goes live, we want to do a maintenance, but it will definitely be done without a maintenance contract. That is not a problem. In fact, I like it when people don't often do this because they want to do it on their own. They don't want to sign a maintenance. And then usually they come back 6 months later, can I please have a maintenance? I don't want to do this on my own. So I like to give people that freedom to decide, and not force it on them, so.
Curtis,
Okay,
if I
yes,
may,
go ahead.
I understood when Mike talked about adding this into my motion, is that we kind of paint a complete picture, that we don't just say one-time $1,500 amount, and that there's going to be occurring yearly fees for maintenance.
Right.
And I would have no trouble putting those kind of words into the motion. Mike, I think that's what you're getting at, right?
Yes, it is, and I think that to really clear it up, that the trail manager and the chairperson would authorize or be authorized to sign those contracts once
That's
they're
good.
satisfied.
Excellent.
That would
I agree
cover
with that.
us.
And then you know the expectation's coming, that are like, where did this
Right.
come from? We know to expect moving forward. We
Right.
need to take care of this site every month so we
Right.
don't have problems, you know,
Yeah,
so.
we really didn't want to dive into the whole implementation, acceptance, and all that
That's
sort of thing.
okay.
I think we're, pretty clear on that. I think it's to paint the complete picture of what we're getting involved with, for the public, like Mike says, it is, that's what we're dealing with.
I
So do I need to amend?
You do need to amend your motion,
My
and
motion.
the second will need to be amended as well.
All right. All right, so my motion again would be to go in contract with OCS for a brand-new design and implementation of a website for the Pollyant Trail for the amount of $1,500. Then additionally, my motion would say that we will incur yearly maintenance cost to keep this website safe, up-to-date, per our requirements, and that the chairman of the council and the manager of the trail would be authorized to go into approving and contracting anything concerning maintenance.
I'll amend my support as well.
Okay, that would include the hosting as well, correct? Okay. All right, I'm not going to repeat the motion, but we do have a motion on the floor amended from Councilor South, seconded by Councilor Nichols, to approve the OCS design contract proposal for the Pollyant Trail Management Council's website. And we'll get a roll call on that, please.
Yes, sir. Curtis Wright.
Yes.
Mike McDonald.
Yes.
Elgin Nichols, yes. Donnie Steele.
Yes.
Aaron Wadley.
Yes.
Eric Sent.
Yes.
Bruce Pearson, absent. Carries.
Okay, that motion does carry. Okay.
I'm excited.
Linda and I will get with you, Michelle, and we'll move this forward. When is your next availability?
When would you like to meet?
Why don't we,
We'll talk offline.
yeah, why don't we do that? Why don't we do that? Because we're ready to move on this.
Who's going to tell Michelle how bad it gets? So scared.
Okay, we're going to move on here to our interlocal agreement and approval, item 10B. At our last meeting, we went through a lot of changes on the interlocal agreement. In your packet, I did put in the red line of the items I thought I heard to put in there, so if I missed something, I apologize, and I would expect you to bring that forward to council today. So you can see the changes in red that were forwarded, and then there's a clean copy of the interlocal agreement that's for your consideration. A couple things I want to point out on this is that in the heading, it's an agreement to establish the Pollyant Trail, but we're already established. So my thinking is that we would take the establishment out of the heading there. If you want, I'll just walk through the changes real quick on this. Under Section 3 on page 2, we indicated that we were okay with having the village manager serve as one of the voting members, and that was driven by the Village of Oxford, who regularly does not have a person to represent them on this council. The other item is item 3A6. The council shall adopt bylaws pursuant to the purpose and activities of this agreement and consistent with this interlocal agreement that was added. Moving on to page 5, which would have been under powers, section 7, adding the DNR into the language there as far as the properties, land, and facilities. Page 6, under finances, the change was to a fiscal calendar year, January 1st to December 31st. Item B, striking out Appendix B, which was referencing having the budget included in the agreement. Item C, no compensation from council will be paid to any member sitting on council. Section 7, this is information that was derived directly from the Paint Creek Trail for the purpose of hopefully securing the possibility of getting grants. And that was the extent of the changes that I put into the agreement. Anybody have anything else they need to add, subtract to this agreement?
Put the dates in there? Oh, yeah, it's at the top, okay.
I did, I'm sorry. Yeah, I did put the dates as well as was requested as a draft copy. So if you need one more look for another meeting, we can do that, but I think we're pretty much to the finish line here.
I think it looks pretty good to me. You put a lot of work into it.
Well, it's a council-driven.
Well, trust me.
Chris?
I'm sorry, Linda, go ahead.
Once we get this approved and everything is as it should be and we have it all put together, my intent is to send it over to Kristen Wilfang and Mary Carlock. Mary Carlock is the trust fund grant coordinator, to have them look it over to see if it fits the criteria we need to get trust fund grants. Then we can include it in our 5-year master plan, because that was our stumbling block, one of our stumbling blocks.
Yeah, this will be a recommendation to our respective councils and boards to approve what we're recommending. Donnie?
Do you want to do what Linda said first or what you said first?
Either way works for me.
Well, if we do the DNR, what if it doesn't meet their criteria and we've already sent it to everybody's individual councils? If we make sure it's okay and it passed muster with the DNR, then we can send it to the communities, and then the communities can put the blessing on it. Otherwise, if the community blesses it, the DNR might say,
Sure.
No.
Sure, good point, Linda and Donnie. So what we'll do then is, when do you think we can get a response, Linda?
From the DNR?
Yes.
I can probably, as soon as we get it finalized, get a copy, we'll email it to me. I can email it to Mary Carlock and explain that we are waiting to get approval from the DNR. I'll send a copy to Kristen Wolfang, explain to her we're also waiting to get approval so we can move forward with our communities. 3 weeks.
Okay, all right. So if there's no objection from council, we'll postpone this until we get that response back and then put on whatever agenda that happens to fit for our meeting schedule. So we'll
Private
postpone that. Any objection to that? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to the item 10C, which would be the bylaws and review, and based upon the bylaws supplementing the interlocal agreement, I just want to point out a couple things. There's 3 things that I put in there as far as the Pollyant Trail now extends farther than Indianwood Road, so that will have to be amended somehow. We need the date for the first amended interlocal agreement, dated 1990, whatever that would be, and then the appendix attachment A. And was that the description, Mike, for the trail?
Yeah, that was
Okay, so
the legal description
Okay.
of the property itself.
And I've got that. So what I'll do is, we'll postpone that as well, and we'll approve these at the same time, pending the changes, those two changes, or any other changes you might have.
So are you going to put,
Go ahead, Donnie.
are you going to put Walden in there versus
I'm
Indian?
going to put in whatever I'm told to put in there.
Walden,
Walden.
Walden?
or Jocelyn, sorry.
Jocelyn, we have a 5-year lease on it.
Yeah, I think under the new agreement, in conformance with the bylaws, what we should do is sit down with Orion Township and talk about formalizing and getting a letter authorizing us to continue to do as we've done in the past, and that's basically to maintain and manage that property. So we have the right to do so
I have a letter
as
tomorrow
well
for you.
as that. Well, I don't know who that would come from, but that would, clarify and establish things formally so that we can continue to do the things that we're doing.
Without any issue.
On the portion that we own.
Because we don't own that property.
So you're looking for a letter from Orion saying, Pollyant Trail, you're fine in our community to move forward down to Joslyn Road, so to speak.
Right.
Okay.
And
Donnie?
who has the lease for the ITC line? Okay,
The trail does.
okay, the trail,
Trail
okay.
does, yeah.
So it's DNR, Orion, ITC.
ITC, and I did apply for, did receive the lease for 5 years, and that took effect last summer, so 5 years from now.
Okay, so we will get that back on a future agenda to our pleasure, and we will move forward to item 10D, trail map purchase. As Linda indicated in her report, she would request to want to purchase some more trail maps. She has solicited quotes, and I provided one in the packet that was the lowest, because it was, probably 3 or 4 times cheaper than the second quote?
I was solicited 4 quotes. I only received 2 back. The second one was like $2,000 for 5,000 of these maps. The lowest bid was 5,000 of these maps with 80-pound weight paper was $776.10.
Linda, you want to pass that around to council so they can see?
This is what we have now. This is not correct. So we will be, and I did get from Kristen Wolfang, she has a PDF of this, so we can make our changes, we can send it to our printer, and she has changed our address, our phone numbers, our maps, everything of that nature. So we have...
Do you want to make sure you have the right domain before we...
Yes. So we're gonna kind of wait out for a little while and just kind of see, and that's basically, it tells a little story on the back.
Is it the same map as that you have up on the trail?
Yes.
Okay, good.
With the correct phone number and the added parking lot of Lake George, because there is, on here, there is no Lake George.
Show the camera.
Lake George. So we'll
Lake
be adding
George Junction.
There we go.
in your maps.
LGJ?
This is double-sided trifold?
Double-sided trifold, 5,000 of these for $776.10.
Yeah, we're going to start using these people. Jeez.
I know, they blew it out of the water, so I don't know if it's going to be a low bid.
Donnie, go ahead.
I make a motion to accept the quote of 770, how convenient. I move to approve the purchase of 5,000 Polly-Ann trail maps from Print Boys Digital Printing in the amount of $776.10. This $776.10 amount to be expensed to account number 298-253-962-011, miscellaneous advertising and web. Thank you.
Have a motion on the floor, second to the motion?
Second.
Second motion by Councilor Steele, second by Councilor Semp to approve the purchase of 5,000 trail maps from Print Boys. Roll call, please.
Curtis Wright.
Yes.
Mike McDonald.
Yes.
Elgin Nichols, yes. Donnie Steele.
Yes.
Aaron Wadley.
Yes.
Eric Sant.
Yes.
And Bruce Pearson, absent.
Okay, that motion does carry.
Also, I wanted to make one quick, any updates that we need to do as far as if we want to hang out and wait for our names to go for our parking lots? Kristen Wolfang said that she would update the PDF for us in the format and everything, free of charge for us. We just need to let her know what we want to have changed, and she'll do it for free. So we can send the clean version to Print Boys, they'll print it, we're done.
Okay, but if we do, Mr. Chair,
Yes, go ahead.
if we do that, you won't get anything until after June.
Correct. We can hang on,
Oh,
we've
it's up-
hung on this long, we
It's
can hang
whatever,
on until June.
whatever council prefers, okay.
Yeah, it won't, we've waited this long, we'll just hang on a little longer.
Okay, on to item 10E, which would be Pathway Church parking. It's my understanding that Councilor Steele and Trail Manager Moran have been attempting to try to get some parking from Pathway Church, which is located on Drainer Road, basically in the center of Roxford Township. But if you can picture that, wood trail in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open the floor to Councilor Steele to explain what she would like to attempt.
Okay, so I'm just going to tell you a little story. So my husband Phil's mother, Betty, years and years ago, wanted a Baptist church and went to the Dominican sisters and asked if they would sell the 5 acres to her so she could build that church. So I thought, I do have feelings. I thought it would be nice to somehow have the pastor maybe help us have parking that we can preserve, I don't know, her memory. So we have called the pastor a couple times to see if he would consider selling, leasing, lending, using a portion of that parking for the trail. And it's so dangerous to be parking on Drainer Road. It's a horrible spot, and that would be a great spot to have a parking lot.
Linda?
Oh,
No, I'm sorry. Yeah, Mike, you're up.
I don't want to step on Linda.
oh, no, I'll describe you later.
That has consequences. I've been following the emails back and forth, and I think that the council and the public would be well-served by having access to park there, and that I think that Donnie and Linda should have authority from us to meet with the pastor and offer liability coverage through the Pollyant Trail. They would be a named insured in the event that there was any, liability issues at that, if they grant us the use of that parking lot.
And Linda's been in contact with Keith Potter from MMRMA and indicating that that would be something that they would add us on to the policy.
Some years ago, and I don't know how many years ago, Pathways Church did allow us to use that parking lot. There was actually a sponsorship sign and everything in place. I don't know where it came from. It occurred that they became concerned about liability issues if someone using the trail, using their parking lot, were injured. I did talk to the DNR in 2017, and they said, just put them on as a covered insured. It'll be fine, we do it all the time. And I thought, yeah, kind of got busy, didn't think about it. Donnie and I have been talking about it. I've talked to Pastor Bennett several times about it. And I talked to Keith Potter, our insurance agent. He said, it's no cost to you guys to add them on as a covered insured. So it costs us no money. It will cost the church no money. They will be covered. They could use this as a publicity, for their little church there, that, hey, look what we're doing for the community. It's absolutely nothing. We could probably stick an Eagle Scout project out there to build some little steps, a little path to Pathway Church parking. We could do something like that. And if we offered a trash can up there, something to help them out, I think we really need something there, because people park on that, and somebody's going to die. Not necessarily the people that park there getting in and out of their car. It's the people crossing that road. The cars obstruct the vision of the cars going by, people crossing the trail to go to the other side. Those are the people that are going to get hit, not the people in the cars. So I've been very concerned about that area.
Do we need a motion?
I just move to authorize Councilor Steele and Trail Manager Moran to continue the pursuit of securing parking on the Pathway Church property and report back to council at our next meeting with a progress report.
That includes offering, they're authorized to offer liability coverage
Yes.
to the...
Yeah,
Okay.
will include authorized liability
I'll
coverage.
second that motion.
Okay, a motion by Chairman Wright, second by Counselor McDonald to continue the pursuit of securing parking on Pathway Church property. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Okay, that motion carries. On to item 10F, Gerst Road repairs. Manager Moran is asking for $250 to repair Gerst Road problems or whatever, and if PowerPoint was up, we'd have a picture of what it looks like. But if there's no further issues with that, a motion would be in order to approve the amount to proceed.
I'll make the motion to approve an amount not to exceed $250 for repairs for the Polyant Trail at Gerst Road. This $250 amount to be expensed to account 298-253-932000, maintenance of grounds.
Support.
Okay, motion by Counselor Sump, second by Counselor Nichols to approve the $250 for repairs to Gerst Road. Roll call, please.
Curtis Wright.
Yes.
Mike McDonald.
Yes.
Elgin Nichols, yes. Donnie Steele.
Yes.
Aaron Wadley.
Yes.
Eric Sent.
Yes.
Bruce Pearson is absent.
Okay, that motion carries on to item 10G, Powell Street Park, as it's called now, request for cement purchase. As indicated in Trail Manager Moran's report, she's requesting cement for improving the Powell Street Park. Linda, you got any more that you'd like to offer to council before we consider the approval?
No, we tried to get it done last year. It wasn't able. I did talk to Joe. He said he would do it, and if I pay him money, he has to do it. I know where he lives. So basically, he said he'd do it for cost. He would do his labors for free. I mean, he's such a nice guy. I can't even tell you what a nice guy this is.
And you need the cement for what purpose?
For these 12 by 12 cement pad to put Sue Bellaire's picnic table on. And next, not the 28th, weather permitting, Wham's going to be out there, and we're going to take that place apart, and we're going to completely redo it. We're going to, I have everything I need, I just need to put it together. I just need labor out there. So if I get the cement, hopefully we'll throw the picnic table on there. I got the trees from the DTE tree grant. Mark's busily making flower plant boxes and bird houses to put out there. You won't recognize this place.
Donnie?
I move to approve an amount, can I make a motion? Do I have to ask? Okay.
Go right ahead.
I move to approve an amount not to exceed $850 for the purchase of cement for the Powell Park Street property. This $850 amount to be expensed to account number 298-253-932-000, maintenance of grounds. And thank you.
Second.
Okay, a motion by Counselor Steele, second by Counselor Sump to approve the cement purchase for the Powell Street property. Roll call, please.
Curtis Wright.
Yes.
Mike McDonald.
Yes.
Elgin Nichols, yes. Donnie Steele.
Yes.
Aaron Wadley.
Yes.
Eric Sent.
Yes.
Bruce Pearson is absent.
Okay, that motion carries. Last item on our agenda under unfinished business is weed control for the Polyant Trail. The Polyant Trail last did weed control in 2016. It's recommended it's to be done every 3 years. Linda, you've been researching this, so you go ahead and let us know what you would like us to do.
Well, I have tried everything. I've tried goats, I've tried vinegar, I've tried a Harley rake. I have tried everything to keep the weeds under control. The DNR in the manual does request, maximum of 3 years that we do weed control. It's for the weeds that grow on the trail, in the berm. I don't want to do it, but I've tried everything else, and I don't know what else to do. I have talked to the DNR about it. They recommend it. And it has to be a chemical treatment process that is approved by the DNR. Any of our licensed contractors would know what that is. It will not interfere with the water quality, the ground quality. It's pretty much, the same thing we do at our house. Only I think it's a little less than some of the stuff that's run in the grass. I don't know what to do other than this. I don't want to do it. We did do the Harley Rake in Leonard a couple years ago, and now it's just a grass, the entire trail is like a lawn. I mean, I don't know what else to do. If anybody
Mike,
has
go
any
ahead.
suggestions.
I'd like to move to authorize the trail manager to solicit quotes for weed spraying by licensed applicators of the Pollyant Trail for presentation at the May 15th and 2019 Pollyant Council meeting.
I would like to second the comment, though.
Okay, go ahead.
Have you talked to Parks and Rec, for example, see what they do?
I have not. I kind of played around with it a bit. I was kind of ignoring it, hoping the weeds would go away, and they haven't. So I'm stuck. So yes, I'll be seeing Mr. Watley, and I will be seeing Mr. Davis, and we'll be talking.
And that was my only
Yeah,
question.
I don't know what Orion does. I don't know what their protocol is for weed control, weed management.
It depends where it is, but usually we frown away from using any glyphosate on any of our properties.
Yeah.
We do a combination of like torching, so that'll give us a 3-week stint if we torch the weeds out around baseball fences and things. But I would just request in your quotes that you request the product they're using, the amount they're using, and an SDS sheet with the products. So, and that'll give you the warnings and different things like that, so.
And I'm very opposed to chemicals, but, and then they have to follow the DNR guideline, which I think is even more strict than pretty much anything else. I mean, they are very concerned about water control, or water quality, animal habitat. And the areas we're talking about, basically, I'm going to try and stay away from the lakes, the swamps, that sort of area. Just completely steer away from those. But it touches everything, so I just...
Any further comment on that motion? Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, opposed? Okay, that motion does carry. Moving on to public comment. Any public comment? Seeing or hearing none? Moving on to council member comments. Linda will get you, okay, go ahead.
The Health and Body Expo in Orion Township is going to be April 27th, and I'm going to be coaching a chair next to Donnie. So we're going to be selling our wares and selling our trail at the Orion Township Expo.
Cleanup, don't forget the
And
cleanup.
the cleanup, come on the Pollyant Trail in Orion Township, get a garbage bag.
What day is the cleanup?
It is the 27th.
27th, same day?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the 28th is Wham, so we'll be out at Powell Street doing a little cleanup over there. So if you miss me on Saturday, come on Sunday. I'll be there all day.
Okay, all right, Linda, thank you. Thank you. Counselor Senft, we'll start on your end. Any comments?
Well, speaking of cleanup, we have a cleanup in Edison Township coming up May 11th.
May 11th.
That's all I have.
Okay. Counselor Watley.
I won't steal Donnie's thunder with Linda's Monday night.
You go ahead.
Because I'm sure you'd be mad. But, yeah, regarding the green up, if it's from 1 to 4, the 27th,
With lunch.
with lunch, and we have shirts and giveaways and stuff like that. But if you can't make it that day, it's really a week-long process of cleaning Orion. So if you find a project on your drive to work that drives you nuts, take 2 hours out of your week and clean it up, send us a picture. I'd encourage everybody, not just in Orion, but throughout all of our communities, to take some time this week during Earth Week and give back. So, well done on the trail. Looks nice. Thank you.
Thanks, Aaron, that means a lot.
Linda, last night at our, 2 nights ago, board meeting, Linda was recognized for Citizen of the Year for her excellence.
Citizens a month.
Yeah. To me, it's all year. Citizen of the Month for her excellent service to the community. So I just,
Thanks, guys,
yeah.
that really means a lot. That was special.
And I don't want to say anything more, but I will. I just want to let everybody know, I was at a Paint Creek Trail meeting till 10 o'clock last night. We got one thing done. So I am really impressed with these meetings. So thank you for the organization and the speed. and the accomplishments.
It's killing Curtis, by the way. I'm just letting you know it's killing Curtis.
He can take it.
Yeah, we heard. Counselor Nichols.
I guess I'm just impressed with the progress that's being made, and I think the great job that Linda Moran does for the trail, and our chairman as well.
I mirror all of those comments and would only add that I'm really proud of the council. I mean, we really have, the last 2-3 years, we've really accomplished a lot of work on the trail that wasn't necessarily neglected, it was just never realized. So we're making a huge difference. So let's keep it up, yeah.
Mr. Green.
I just wanted to thank the council for your faith in me and reappointing me for 2 more years. I don't say much, but I'm listening. And I hope it helps.
Thank you for serving us.
That helps.
Absolutely.
That helps. Eyes and ears always help. Yeah, well, I know it was a little bit of a longer meeting, but we had an important issue to deal with, so I'm glad we basically got through that hurdle, and just thanks to the council for helping me make this go as good as it does. So, till the May meeting, motion for adjournment is in order.
So moved.
Second?
Motion and second to adjourn the meeting at 4:35 PM. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Meeting is adjourned.
Happy Easter.